Hang on. I've got a thingy
Welcome,
coming up here.
golfers.
Hang
Oh,
on,
sorry.
sorry. I've got a thingy coming up here. What's this? Okay, got it. Okay. Let's rock and roll.
Welcome, golfers, to the next episode of the Read It, Roll It, Hole It podcast. Today, I am super excited. We've got a special guest on the show today. He is the first major champion to come onto the show. He won the 2005 US Open. He's the winner of the 2005 US Open, and he's been around on the tour for a while, and really looking forward to catching up with Michael Campbell today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here and share my stories.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's it's, as I said, the first major champion, so I'm really excited. And I know you're now you've got your own academy in the south of Spain. So I know we share similar sort of interests there with helping golfers and also with nice cars and that sort of story. So we'll talk about that during the show. So happy days.
Good.
Michael, let's start. We've got to start at Pinehurst, 2005, winning the US Open, beating Tiger Woods down the stretch. Talk to me your sort of fond memories or your memories of that event back, 16 years ago now?
Oh, that's a long time. Yeah, that's right. Well, sorry, it's a long story, but it all started at the very start of 2005, really. I remember playing in the Middle East and Dubai and Qatar and those places, and I was shooting 80s, 82s and missing cuts, and my golf game was in really, really bad shape. So I rang up my coach, Jonathan Yarbrough, said, Jonathan, I'm coming over to America for 5 weeks. Let's do this thing. I need some help. So it was like a real hard grind. So I flew to America for 5 weeks and saw Jonathan, and we're grinding on the driving range, 8 hours a day for 5 weeks in a row, sort of thing. And we found this golden nugget, I call it. And so I came back to Europe, and then all of a sudden I was, finishing top 20, top 10, top fives, and coming seconds and thirds. So it's amazing how it's not really amazing, just one of those things in golf that happens when you get onto a wave of confidence. It really makes you, play well and all that sort of stuff. So going into Pinehurst, I was feeling pretty confident, and I said to myself, okay, a top 10 would be nice, because I knew I was playing well enough to get into the top 10. And obviously winning was a great bonus. After 3 good first rounds, or first, second, and third round, I was in the hunt. Although Retief Goosen was like probably about 5 shots ahead of me going to the last round. And then I remember parring the first. I was 1 under after 7 holes, and he was like 7 over after 6 holes because he was playing behind me, obviously. Yeah, so it was a big turnaround. So I had to kind of switch my mindset to winning it. And the rest of the guys fell away. Sergio was there, BJ was there. They kind of fell away, and the only 2 guys left were myself and Tiger. So that was a real fun thing to have, the best player in the world and myself. I think I was ranked like 86 in the world then during that week of the US Open. And to be, in the ring, you could say, fighting it out was a huge privilege for me. And it was one of those things where I managed to step over the line just before Tiger, and I think I won by 2 shots in the end. So it was just it was an incredible feeling. If you think about it, it was in his height of his career. He just won Augusta about 3 months before. He won 10 majors, and then won the world, obviously, and the best player in the world by far. And then I was obviously the underdog that week, and he was obviously the favourite to win, and the crowd was behind him. He was playing in front of me, and I saw every single shot, and it was incredible, the electric atmosphere going to the last 9 holes. But I managed to play well enough to beat him by 2 shots.
Wonderful. Great to hear you tell that story. And yeah, I remember watching it, and you were the underdog, and I was a massive Tiger fan, so I was rooting for him. I'll be honest with you, if I'm honest. I've got to be honest. And Yeah, it was so good to see you get, to win though, and change your life forever, I imagine.
Well, it all goes down to your goals and dreams as a kid. Growing up in New Zealand, um, the ultimate goal when I was growing up was to be an All Black. Simple as that. When I was 5 years old, I started playing rugby, and I played many sports. I was very a natural sports person, and playing rugby and basketball, squash, tennis, golf was probably the fifth sport I played. Wasn't really a priority on that list, but my number one goal was to be an All Black, and I quickly found out I wasn't big enough, strong enough, fast enough. So I decided to focus on other sports, and I gave softball a go and did okay on that. But golf was, I thought, okay, let's give golf a go. And I took up seriously around 13, 14 years old. I started playing golf at 6 years old on a golf course that was a farm. There's sheep everywhere. There was cows everywhere, fences around the greens. So that's how I started playing golf. My father cut down a left-handed, not right, left-handed golf club, 6-iron. Never forget this. I was playing left-handed for like probably a year or so. I didn't really like it, so I switched over to right-handed. Yeah, so I switched over to right-handed, and that was it. I was hooked, and that's when I realized that golf was my sport. But I think to all those parents who are listening right now, it's important that you expose your children to your kids to all sports, and they will decide which one to choose. And it took me 5 different sports to choose golf, because you kind of realize your limitations. But all of a sudden, golf to me was easy. I don't know how to explain that, but it was easy to play and do well. So I improved so quickly in a short space of time. So I thought, okay, I'll give this game of golf a crack. And that's when I decided to really dive into it and give it 110%.
Love that. It's a great it's a very important message, isn't it, for kids to play all sports. I think quite often kids try and specialize too much too young, and a lot of top athletes, a lot of sort of major winners in all sports have played a variety of sports. It's really important, isn't it? Why do you think that is?
Because I think from my own experience, you push by the parents too much, maybe. There's different reasons why. But my parents were lucky enough to let me go and do what I wanted to do. And it's quite funny. There was one stage I was playing 5 sports at the same time, and they felt like taxi drivers. Every day was a practice day, or and the weekend was busy playing the sport itself, whether it's rugby or softball or tennis or golf. So, and they said to me, Michael, you got to choose. Sorry, you can't do this. You got to choose at least 2 sports. And so
Yeah.
that's when I decided to focus on one, because I think the child itself has to decide. I mean, when you see kids who just play one sport, they burn out very, very quickly. I've seen it so many times. The burnout is such a short period of time. But when you have the enjoyment of playing in a team, like in softball or rugby or netball or whatever sport you play, it's important to respect and the other players as well. So playing in a team sport, because as you know, obviously golf is an individual sport, but playing as a team sport is very, very important as well, to learn about other people's, just the managers and then the coaches and stuff like that. It's very, very important to have respect for other people and for your fellow players as well. But because golf is a very selfish game. I mean, I decided to really dig my heels in age of 15 years old, and that's when I saw less of my friends, and I less social. Was just so dedicated to practice 110%. I had a good work ethic and with no regrets, and the people say, what was your why? This is thing that this latest on the social media right now. What's your why? My why was to prove to the world, and this is quite a powerful why, that Maori people can play golf. I was the first Maori to win the a major championship, with lots of firsts for me, to pave the way for other Maori golfers as well. So yes, I had difficulties when I was back home, and a lot of doubters. They thought I was crazy, thinking that I'd be one of the best players in the world. And that to me was a huge motivation to prove them wrong, So yes, you're going to get people around you saying that you're not good enough. What you're doing is just a dream world. But I was a dreamer, I always felt when I was 13 years old that I could do well in golf. And if you just have that self-belief, if you're driven, and all the great stuff, is definitely possible to achieve. I mean, it could be anything, any sport, whether it's golf or any other sport, or even work, whether it's going to be I don't know, but the possibilities are definitely achievable. And when people tell you can't do it, it makes me more motivated to actually do well.
I love hearing that. The is it like that? You say like the why is that the Maori is that like a small, I don't know, small area, and it's like you feel, I don't know, you weren't good enough. What sort of, what's the motivation to why that was so important?
Well, it's very simple. In the Maori culture, if you're within the family circle, you are safe. And it goes back to the tribal era. All right. So if you're surrounded by your people, you're safe. If you think outside the circle, you're on your own. So that's where it comes from. So it's been around the Maori culture for a very long time. And I said, no, I want to be this person. And lucky enough, I had my mum and dad who were very supportive and saw me, and the look in my eyes. I'm thinking, okay, he wants to do this, so let's support him. And so that's where it comes from. It's the whole tribal culture that's where it comes from. Because it's true. If you can have a 9-to-5 job, and I'm not saying that people back home right now shouldn't do this, but you can have a 9-to-5 job, have a healthy life, nice family, and fantastic, great. But I knew that I was born on this planet to do something different. It came from my nurturing of my grandmother. My grandmother and I were very, very close together. I mean, when I remember going to her house when I was 8 years old, and she was a she was a how can I explain? She was a witch, not a witch, but in a good way. She used to have people come to her house at 3 o'clock in the morning with some sort of illness. She'll go to the herb garden and bless them and give them herbs and feel better, kind of thing. So she was very spiritual, very wise person. And I remember on many occasions, because she used to smoke a lot too much, unfortunately, and I used to help her roll her cigarettes. We spent hours on philosophy about life. And don't forget, I was like 10 years old, sitting down, rolling her cigarettes like this. And she goes, Michael, she goes to me, you are very special. You will do something in your life that will change people's lives. I'm 10 years old. I'm thinking, what are you talking about, Grandma? You are crazy, But now I understand. What she meant. But she saw that. It's very hard to explain to people who aren't that way. But yeah, it was kind of special. And now I always look back on those moments that made me, because I believe that you are who you are through your past experiences and present experiences. And I think the reason why I am who I am right now, because of my my grandmother, and obviously other people as well, definitely other people as well, not just her. So the accumulation of people around me that made me who I am today. So and what I've become as a golfer, to be, winning a major was kind of cool.
Thank you for sharing that sort of special moment and that relationship with your grandmother. That means a lot. Thank you.
No,
did you? What was her reaction? Did you have a chance to take that trophy back to her, or she'd gone by then?
Yeah, she passed away when I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah, so but I knew, once again, the married people are very spiritual. I'm not sure if you remember, but I remember looking towards, after holding the putt on the last hole, I looked towards the heavens and thanked her, that for the encouragement, for her strength to make this possible. So yeah, that's a really cool moment. But yeah, she wasn't there physically, but emotionally and spiritually, she was there, definitely.
He was there. And you've got the trophy there behind you. Can you, for those watching this on YouTube, can we have a look at it, or does it move?
Oh, yeah.
Does it not
Yeah.
move?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. There we go.
There we go. There we go, guys. It's the 2005.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, because there's actually 9% of the actual size of the trophy itself, the US Open trophy, and it's handmade, and it has all the winners until me. You can't really see it on here, but the thing I feel blessed that I mentioned in the same sentence as all these players. Bobby Locke, Gene Sarazen, obviously Tiger. You got Byron Nelson. You've got Ben Hogan. You've got Jack Nicklaus. You've got Lee Trevino. I mean, come on. It just goes on. Yeah, Fuzzy Salah, Larry Nelson, Tom Watson, David Graham, Hal Irwin, Payne Stewart, bless his soul, Tom Kite, Ernie Els, Retief Goosen, Tiger, obviously, Jim Furyk. So
Michael Campbell.
There you go. Yeah.
How does that make you feel when you pick that up and look at it, Michael?
Very proud. And also, what's really cool,
it's full of beer.
No, it used to be. This is the medal you get with it too. I'm not sure.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Nice little medal to come with it. Brilliant, great stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's cool. I'm sure your grandmother would have been, as you said, spiritually she'd been there and proud of you very much so. Just going back to the event itself, on that back nine, the back nine of a major championship, it's down to you and Tiger. Can you remember what thoughts were sort of running through your head at that moment, and how did you keep your shit together, man?
My shit together. Well, I think it's okay. Let's rewind back in 1995. I was leading the Open at St Andrews after 3 rounds, and I remember standing on that first tee in the last round, paired with Constantino Rocco. I was 24, I think 25, leading the Open. That's pretty cool, right? At St Andrews.
That's cool.
And after the round, that's when it hit me, saying that I wasn't ready mentally. Yes, I had the physical attributes to win a major, but mentally I wasn't ready. So it took me time, another 10 years later, to really mentally fortify my mind. And that last day, I can never forget this. On the 10th hole, Tiger was playing in front of me, and his playing partner, can't remember who it was, Peter Hiblum. Yeah, Peter Hiblum had a ruling, hit it way left on the par 5 on the 10th hole. So I was standing there on the tee for 10 minutes. Okay, that's a long time.
It is.
It's a long time. And all of a sudden, I drew upon all these mental triggers, and I recall one profound kind of statement was from a quote from Bruce Lee, because I used to read a lot of books, and I think it was called the Zen in the Martial Arts by Bruce Lee or something like that. And he in this book he goes on about how the mind and the body is water. And as soon as it freezes, that means you're in trouble. So you've got to make sure that the water's flowing through your body, which is the energy. And he also mentions about an empty cup. And it's important that you fill up that cup with water, but positive water. So I was standing there. So this came from, I read this book probably 7 years before the last round of 2005. So I read it in probably 1998, but I remembered it. So I visualized this empty cup, and I was going, I'm good enough, I've practiced hard enough, I'm deserving. So I was pouring all this wonderful, beautiful stuff into my empty cup, and now it was full, overflowing with positivity. And it was very empowering. And so I remember there was that. And then also there was, once again, I think it was my grandmother talking to me. During the last 9 holes, Tiger, I think, made like four birdies or something like that. And he knew, like, these are a birdie roar and a Tiger roar. It's so different. You can tell every time it's a good shot, it's just, you can really hear it. Okay. And I remember something, the golfing guys spoke to me, I don't know, but every time that he hit a good shot and the crowd went crazy, I was tipping my hat. I was like, thank you, like that. And my caddy said to me, my caddy Sponge said to me, what are you doing, Campbell? Well, my nickname's Campbell, Michael. And I said, well, I'm deflecting. This sounds crazy, but it came from, I don't know where it came from, maybe my grandmother. So I'm deflecting the energy that the crowd's giving to Tiger to me.
Wow.
So that's,
I love it though.
And so every time he made a great swing or hit it close, a birdie putt, I was imagining absorbing the energy from the crowd, which made me feel, invincible. So there you go. Sounds pretty crazy, but it worked.
Crazy, but it's incredible what sort of the mind believes the body achieves.
Absolutely. I believe that you manifest what you think, because you are your own director of your movie, and you choose your words, your thoughts. And I chose wisely the last 9 holes. Every single word, like every single step I took, I said, I'm good enough. I'm good enough. Every breath, positive in, negative out. These are simple things. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. And it leads to your life as well, not just golf. Every morning I wake up and this might sound crazy, but I go right foot first, left foot. Always right foot, left foot. And I go, today, I'm going to put my right foot down. It's a great day.
I love it.
It's all about affirmations. It's all about just, telling yourself, not in the future, it's now. Because the point of power is in the now. Like me talking to you right now. They're giving these messages to these people who are listening right now. It's the same thing.
Totally. I'm sort of very fast, learning very quickly here, Michael, that you're not just, the reason that you're great, it's not just because of your great golf swing or golf ball striking or putting. It's you're a wonderful thinker and a wonderful mind. Yeah,
well, the thing is, at first, because obviously I learned along the way, no question. At first I thought it was purely just, if you work hard enough, you will achieve great things, which is correct. But you need a combination of lots of things. Being happy, being healthy, that kind of leads to success as well. So there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that people don't see, a lot of things. And I enjoy psychology. I'm not an expert. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an expert. I'm not even close to a qualified psychologist. That's another level. But just through, ever since when I came third, I finished third at the 95 Open at St Andrews. I realised I need something more than just a golf swing. I thought, okay, I need to accumulate some sort of mental tools in my toolbox, because I knew that mentally I wasn't strong enough. So that's when I started reading books about psychology, Louise Hay, How to Heal Your Life, Bruce Lee books. I read a lot of books, and then over time, you accumulate these little snippets or triggers, and I had to use all of them on the last day at the US Open at Pinehurst.
Great, you managed to get them out at the right time. The sort of thing that's going through my mind there is, my mind's gone blank, but what was I going to say? Something really interesting, clearly, Michael. Anyway, I'll come back to it. Jesus, that's a. Oh,
come on, mate! This is your first time you've lost for words here, huh?
Lost for words, yeah. You are blowing my mind away. It's good. It is really, really good.
Well, I think the most important thing that I really enjoy about these podcasts is you see me in a different kind of way, because now I'm trying to teach people how to do it. I'm not saying this is going to change your life, or it's going to change how you play golf, but if it helps you 1% or 2% to be a better person or to play better golf, I'm happy.
I think you're a mind reader as well, because that's exactly what that's what I was trying to say, is how do you feel like being a coach now, you can transfer what you've learned and pass on that, that positive mindset, being in the present, call it whatever you want, that these techniques of filling the cup up onto your students?
Well, that's one thing that's very interesting. Very good point there, because obviously I've been in player for such a long time, and now I switched over to a coach. And my philosophy is holistic. It's more than just swinging it right. To get yourself in the right positions and TrackMan numbers, all that stuff. It's part of it, but it's not the whole package. So I'm teaching a lot of young kids now, and so I'm not saying the coaches these days don't know what I'm talking about, but because I've been there, I've been in the heat of the battle. It's for me, it's easier to kind of like verbally tell them what to do when you get into those situations.
You've been there and done it, right?
Yeah. So I'm not I know my stuff on the golf swing, not as much as all the great swing coaches. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a swing coach like Ledbetter or David or Butch Harmon, all those guys. Sean Foley, Jonathan Yarwood. These guys are just magnificent. But my approach is a piece of everything. From a instructional point of view and also from a playing point of view. So this is a nice combination. And most of my stuff really is based on how to get around and how to play and keeping the present time. It's more of a mental and also mentoring. That's the word I'm looking for. Mentoring for these young kids.
Inspiring, yeah.
Yeah, inspiring. And the thing is that because I'm not a fully qualified teacher, but I think they respect what I say because I've been there and done that and experienced it, and I made mistakes along the way, no question at all. We'll make mistakes, but I think when you make mistakes, when you fail, for example, it's a signal for growth. It's one of those things where, if you think about it, okay, here's something that's quite interesting, which I saw just recently on social media. Tiger, right? Best player in the world in the modern era. His win percentage is 20-something%. Mm-hmm. So he's failed more times than he's succeeded. Interesting, huh? Then the next one was
that way.
No. Look at Formula One, for example. Max and Lewis Hamilton. And then you get Dustin Johnson was I can't remember. John Rahm was like 7 or something %. So there you go. I mean, the kids out there today, they have to accept you're going to fail. I know it's a very horrible word to use, but you gotta say, okay, it's a fact.
Sure.
No question, it's a fact. You're going to fail more times. You're going to succeed, but when you fail, you got to look at it as a positive thing. It's a signal for growth. When you face adversity and you get over that hump or that wall, you're growing as a person and as a golf player. It's the same thing.
Totally agree. Do you think a lot of that mindset that you've gathered over the years has come from the All Blacks, or being an All Black, or not? I don't know. Do you class yourself as an All Black? Maybe not, but I don't know. But anyway, I'm a big fan of the All Blacks, and you know their I think their ethos and their no dickheads rule and their mantras they have are really special. Is that something you've studied or read? And
yeah, I mean, I read the book Legacy.
Legacy, that's a wonderful book.
Yeah, wonderful book. So, and I was lucky enough to meet a lot of the All Blacks over the time and talk to them about it. There's a funny story about Dan Carter and I. I was lucky enough to get invited to one of their training sessions, and I'm watching Dan Carter's back in 2005 when they're playing against the Lions. And I just won the US Open, so they invited me back to the changing room, that sort of stuff. And so I said to Dan Carter, I said, Dan, what do you think about when you kick? He goes, rhythm. I can't remember what he said to me. I said, have you ever thought about kicking the ball and seeing the ball go through the air in real time? I said, what do you mean? I said, in real time. And so we had this conversation. He was lovely about it. And then, fast forward, and it was the World Cup quarterfinals in Wales, in Cardiff, right? 2016, I think it was. I can't remember. So this is 9 years later. Were you there?
Yeah.
What a great game. What a great game that was. So once again, I was invited to the captain's run on Friday, the day before the test match, and going through their processes and doing their stuff. And they invited me on the pitch, and I'm watching Dan kicking. And he saw me, he goes, Michael. I said, what? He goes, I'm still visualizing in real time. So once again, yeah. So, after the conversation, it's all about sharing information. And yes, there's a lot of bad information out there, but I was lucky enough to experience, what, you were saying before about the respect for other players and stuff like that, and no bullshit. I asked questions as well about, how do you perform, and I asked everyone, whether it's going to be, rugby players, rugby league players, or whether it's going to be sports people, other sports people. It's all about sharing information. And it was kind of cute that he remembered that I said to him, visualize the rugby ball in real time going through the goalposts. So that was kind of fun.
That's cool. He was on a podcast, on the High Performance podcast recently, and he mentioned something similar on there about I need to get this right, but it was to do with, like, if he'd missed a kick, so the failure, and he was talking about how he was very good at overcoming missing. And it was just going back to the process, right? What's my job? And yeah, it's a sort of good mind.
It's this one thing that people got to understand with all sports. It's all about a process. You've got to be process driven rather than results driven. That's one thing I've always done when I was playing. If you do your process right, more than likely the result will be okay, will be good, right? And all you can do is dedicate 110% to all the processes in place. And then if it doesn't come off, you did your best. And I haven't got COVID, by the way. I'm fine. I just had a test about 2 days ago. But
can't catch it through Zoom, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. I think we're fine. But I mean, I remember speaking to Stephen Hendry, not Stephen Hendry, the previous coach. Oh my God, you kill me for this.
Graham Henry.
Great, thank you, Graham Henry, about it. And he said that every person on that field's got a job to do. If they follow their process, we'll be fine. It's the same with golf as well. Excuse me.
Grab some water there.
Yeah.
So talking of lows or dealing with the bad times, through 2009, 2012, your form plummeted. Would that be fair? I don't know if there was injuries involved in that time as well. But talk us through that time and how you managed to deal with that.
Well, I think what happened there is that for me, I climbed my Everest. I climbed the highest peak in the world. I won a major, and then I diverted my attention on other things like raising money for charity, and I practiced less. I was. It's when you win a major, it changes your life in many, many ways, a good way. And I take full responsibility. So I used to play like 27 events a year. I was down to 15. I didn't practice as much. Because I knew that I had the chance to make a difference. So my golf came secondary. Basically, that was it. I didn't go to the gym as much. All those things. Did it bother me? No, not at all. Because I climbed my Everest. I mean, you can't go higher in there, can you? So that was my only. Yeah, that's all it was. And then
I was expecting a different answer, if I'm honest, not knowing you. I was thought you were going to tell me, the sob story or, what the injuries and then whatever it is, but it was actually a choice.
Yeah, of course it was. Of course it was. It was a choice that I made pretty much after I won. That's it. I would love to win another major in 3 or 4 majors, whatever. But I just thought I poured all that time and energy into one, and obviously I was more confident, as a player, and the respect from the peers was fantastic, and what I received was accolades from all the other players was incredible. But I was done. That's it. And it didn't bother me because the thing you understand that, I play golf to change. First thing is to make a difference, which I have a little bit back at home in New Zealand. And also, once I made it, because I want to spend more time with my kids. And my kids were at the age of, 12 years old, my 2 boys, and they were more important to me than going and winning golf tournaments. I mean, that's why I really admire guys like Tiger and how they keep on going. They just, how he gets up, every week he gets up. He only plays 15 events a year, and he wins 20% of them. So, it was my choice, and I decided to back off. I took my foot off the accelerator and decided just to enjoy life.
That's cool.
But now I'm 50. Oh man!
I was going to say, what's 2022 on the Legends Tour? What's that? Why are you doing that then?
Because I miss competing. That's one thing that's it's missing right now, and I want it back. And after 8-year break, I think it is, or 9-year break, I decided to jump in the deep end again and give it a go and see how it goes and have some fun. It's a little bit different, it's only 3 rounds of golf. You're having fun with guys you compete against when you're in your prime, like guys like Mickelson and Goose and Ernie Els and BJ are out there right now, Darren Clark, Podrick Harrington. So all my mates are out there playing, and I want to join the party, you could say.
Love it. Brilliant. Great stuff. Michael, just conscious of your time, but I've got 5 minutes to talk about putting.
I'm waiting.
You've got 5 minutes for putting chat. Why are you laughing so much about putting? Is that not your favorite part of the game, or it is your favorite part?
My best part of my game, mate,
Why?
because it's easy.
So the other 99.9% of golfers in the world don't potentially find it easy. So what makes you so good? What do you do so well?
Keeping it simple. For me, I remember having a conversation with Tiger actually, and this is what changed my whole putting. And I think I won like the putting stats on the European Tour probably about 5 times.
Yeah.
4 times, I can't remember exactly, but I was always up there. And it was like 1998, I think it was. I saw him somewhere. We got chatting about putting, and I asked him, "So what do you think about putting?" Tiger goes, "Oh, I paint the picture." I said, "No, mate, give me more stuff than that. Paint the picture." You say that to reporters and on TV. I want more in depth, details. He goes, "Well, I see the ball go in the hole in real time." That's it. That's the answer. I said, "What?" I said, so, "What do you mean by real time?" He goes, "Well, for example, if you've got a 10-footer, by the time you hit the ball and by the time it goes in the hole, it takes 1.8 seconds, depending on the speed of the greens." So he looks down when he visualizes the ball going in the hole at 1.8 seconds.
Wow.
So I use that for the rest of my career. And, I haven't tried cross-handed or the saw or long putter. I've always had the short putter, conventional grip, but I use that his philosophy about seeing the ball go in the hole real time. And that's helped me a lot to be in the moment and also with distance control, because that's hard to do, don't you? Because you see a lot of, I see it all the time, playing pro-ams. Amateurs just look really quickly
Yeah.
like that. That's a waste of time. If you look and take 1.8 seconds on a 10-foot putt that's running at, say, 10 on the stick meter, it's going to take, I think, 2 seconds, I think it was, from the time you hit it to the time it goes in the hole. You should try it.
Definitely. 100% absolutely love that. And you're passing on that wisdom to Dan Carter to become, to maybe help a little bit to beat
the thing.
all the time.
So I'm passing it on because I got it from Tiger and I passed it on to him. He said he used it, which is fantastic. But it's really simple stuff. It's not rocket science. And I've always had a good stroke. As I said, I haven't tried any other kind of methods. I was good enough the way I was. So
Brilliant.
That's it.
I've got a question from one of my one guy I coach, Jack Vowell, who's a very good golfer down in Somerset. And he wants to know, what is your favorite drill pre-round on the putting green?
Distance control.
What is it? And what would you do?
Well, the first thing I do was close eyes. So I have like a 20-footer. I close my eyes, hit it, and guess whether it's going to be 2 feet short or 2 feet short, long, or hole high. And once I get that feel of the pace, because as you know, pace is the most important thing. You can choose a line, but pace is the most important thing. And once I get that, I choose an uphill, downhill putt from 20 feet again. So I hit close eyes, hit a 20-footer uphill, and guess where the ball ends, and then I turn around downhill and do the same thing, and guess where the ball ends. And that's quite challenging. So once I get the pace of the greens right, I'm pretty much away.
Dialed in. Love that. Brilliant. Michael, talking to you has been an absolute pleasure. I've loved every single minute of that. I can't believe where time has gone. I've asked 3 out of 12 questions on my list, but there we are. That's always the way it goes. We went to a place perhaps I didn't expect us to go. There's so many nuggets to take away there to practice putting with your eyes closed to visualize what a good putt looks like in real time. I'm definitely going to use that term. Thank you very much, Michael and Tiger and Dan. And my favorite nugget is deflecting the energy from you.
Yeah. I actually felt like what's the word, in Star Wars. In Star Wars, when you got the lightsaber, right? And I was pretending that this is going to sound crazy. That Tiger's putter or club was a lightsaber, and you know how the lasers come and deflects off. The lasers in Star Wars. Well, this is going to sound crazy, but I was pretending that when the shot that deflects off the lightsaber went to me. So, anyway, that's another.
It's magic, though. It's honestly the biggest golden nugget I've had on the podcast for a long time. So,
good.
Yeah,
good.
Really, really good. So, thank you very much for coming on, and wish you all the best for 2022 on the tour.
Thanks, mate. I want to say that I really enjoyed this chat, and it's nice to share my knowledge with other people, because it's all about just making people better, and whether it's going to be there in golf or any other sport, or even with their life. So good.
Really appreciate that, and you're a really kind guy.
Thank you.